do is, okay, first of all, let's talk about expression versus an equation. Okay, expressions are not equal to anything. They don't have an equal sign. Whereas an equation has an equal sign. Okay, so expressions are not solvable. You can only solve something if there's an equal sign already present. So if I have all of this, it doesn't equal anything. So I can't end up with x equals something. Okay, so the first thing we want is an expression is simplified when it contains no parentheses. It has no exponents on numbers. Now, it can have exponents on variables, but it doesn't have exponents on a number. So if there was a 3 squared, you would need to make that a 9. Okay, and likewise, if I had square root of 25, you don't leave square root of 25, you make it a 5. Okay, and so you can't have any parentheses, you can't have any exponents, and you don't have any square roots that are not simplified. Okay, and then all like terms are collected. Okay, so when we are going to be asked to simplify this, the first thing we need to do is distribute if necessary. It's not always necessary, but if you have parentheses like this with a number in front, you need to distribute first. So I'm going to take this -2 and multiply it times 4x and 5, and I'm going to take this 3 and multiply by x and -4. So I get -8x minus 10 plus 3x minus 12 plus 6x. Okay, no questions on that part, right? Okay. Once I've done that, step 2 is optional. I'm going to rearrange to place the like terms next to each other. And like I said, you don't have to rearrange them if you don't want to. I'm going to rearrange it, though, to make it more visually clear. But that step, you can skip step 2. What I do when I rearrange it, okay, I've got -8x. I cross them out as I go to make sure I get everything. I have a 3x, and I have a 6x. And then I have a -10 and a -12. If everything's crossed out, I know I accounted for everything and I'm good. And then my last step is I'm going to collect my like terms. And that just means I'm going to add and subtract. Okay, so all of these are like terms. So I have -8 plus 3, so that's -5 plus 6. So that's -8 plus 3 plus 6. So it equals just x. And then I have -10 and -12, so that's -10 minus 12, so that's -22. So I'm completely simplified. All my like terms are collected. I don't have any parentheses. I don't have any exponents on numbers. I don't have any square roots, so I'm done. And you'll notice I never wrote equals anything because there was no equal sign there. So this doesn't equal anything. It's just x minus 22. It's just simplified. I'm going to distribute that -6. Don't forget that the negative has to stay with. Like, so this -5 has to go in. So it has to be a -5 times each, not just 5. So I have -6x minus 12. Negative times a negative is plus 15x minus 25 plus 2x. And again, I'm just going to rearrange them to put them next to each other. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to. I have 1, 2, and 3 terms with x's in them, and then 2 terms without. Okay. Right here, what I'm doing is negative 6 plus 15 plus 2. Okay, so negative 6 plus 15 is 9, plus 2 is 11, so that gives me 11x. And then negative 12 minus 25, they're both negative, so I'm adding those together, so that's negative 37. And I'm done. So, when we want to deal with the fractions, okay, if you're doing a fraction times a whole number, we're going to divide by the denominator and multiply by the numerator, if you can. So on each of these, we'll be able to do that, and then I'll show you what to do if it won't divide evenly. Okay, 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 3 goes into 6 twice. And then I have this 1, and so I say 1 times 3, that's 3, and then 1 times 2 is 2. Yeah, good. Okay, and if I come over here, 2 goes into 4 twice, and 2 goes into 8 4 times. I have this negative 1. Okay, so don't forget that negative right there. So negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. And negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. Good? Okay, then I have 3x minus 2x and negative 2 plus 4. So the 3x minus the 2x is going to give me an x. And the negative 2 plus 4 is going to give me 2, so x plus 2. Now, if, let's just say I'm going to take this first part. If I had 1/3 times 9x minus 5. 3 goes into 9, but 3 doesn't go into 5, right? Okay, so I'm going to take that 3, and 3 goes into 9, and I'm going to multiply and get 3x. No problem there, right? But 3 does not go into 5. So for this one, I'm going to multiply the 1 times the 5 and keep the denominator the same. So if you're multiplying by a whole number and the denominator doesn't divide, you just carry over the denominator. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Now if there would have been a 2 here, so I'm going to change it again. Just we'll make it a 2/3 instead of a 1/3. I'm going to do that division like I said. And instead of 1 times, it's going to be 2 times. So it's 2 times 3, 2 times 2. So that would be 6x minus 4. Okay, so we're dividing by denominators and we're multiplying by numerators. And if the numerator, or if the whole number doesn't divide, you just carry it. You just leave it there. It just hangs out. Questions so far? Okay, so an equivalent expression, or sorry, equivalent expressions, I should have put expressions here too. They have the same set of solutions. So what we do is, this is kind of the first step in solving a complicated equation, is to make 2 equivalent expressions. We are going to simplify each side. But we're not going to finish solving it. We're just going to practice simplifying each side, because you want to simplify each side before you cross sides. Because if you start moving things from one side to the other before both sides are simplified, that's where mistakes can be made. So I want you to just practice simplifying without solving. So what we do is we're going to put like a line. Just put like a line and you just do not cross. We're not going to cross that line. Okay. And so I'm going to simplify the left first. So to do that, I'm going to distribute. So I get 6x minus 15 plus 5x. And then I'm going to collect like terms. Okay, so 6x plus 5x is 11x minus 15. Once everything's simplified, I can't do anything more to this side, so I stop here. And then I go to the right side. Sometimes you don't have to do anything to the right side. This might just say 10 or something. If you can't do anything to it, you just leave it alone and it's already simplified. But if you have stuff to do, usually it's distribution if necessary. So I'm going to distribute that 4. And I get 20 minus 4x plus 2. Then I'm going to collect like terms. So 20 plus 2, okay, so I have negative 4x. I like to put the 4x in the front. You don't have to. And 20 plus 2 is 22. And I can't do anything more with this side. So my third step is just set them equal to each other. So 11x minus 15 equals negative 4x plus 22. And be done for now. Later we'll finish them and we'll solve them, but for right now we're not solving, we're just writing equivalent expressions. Okay, and that's important. There's a difference here. Yeah.
Can it also be 22 minus 4x?
Yes, it can. Yeah. 22 minus 4x is totally fine. So it could look like this and it's still the same thing. The only thing that you wouldn't be able to do is say 4x minus 22. Like you can't move the signs around, but you can move the numbers around. Yeah. Questions on that so far? Next example. We've got stuff to do over here, and then we have 11. So what we're going to do is we're just going to work this one side. I'm going to distribute this negative 4. So I have 3x minus 20x plus 8 equals 11. Or you don't have to write the equals if you don't want to yet. Sorry, let's just work on one side at a time. And then I have 3x minus 20x, so that's negative 17x plus 8, and I'm done. I can't do anything else, right? Guys see that? So I'm just going to bring down this 11 because I can't do anything to the 11. It's just there hanging out. And so we're done for now. Later I'll ask you to actually solve these.
So that is solvable?
It is solvable, yes. You're going to get a fractional or decimal answer, but it is solvable. But for right now, we're not worried about solving. We're just equivalent expressions. Like I said, if it helps, you could draw like your little, like a bar or something, you know, whatever you can do to help make it make more sense for you. I have a fraction, so I'm going to multiply or divide by 2. 2 goes into 2 once and into 6 3 times. So I have 1 times 1, which is x, and 1 times 3, which is 3. And this side is done. And here I have 3 goes into 33 11 times. 2 times 11 is 22. I can't do anything else to either side, so I put them equal to each other, and then I'm done for right now.